cut from a string. Lightly the soul of my youth has taken flight. Takuboku Ishikawa.
God bless you. And now, Maestro, could we have the drum roll, please? Ladies and gentlemen, it's with, or even the snare drum. It is with great pleasure that I announce the arrival, lo these many weeks after we first announced his appearance, of Richie Havens is here! Richie is here!
All right.
Now, don't go anywhere till after the interview.
Okay,
all right, Lori?
I promise.
We were all so excited we couldn't help it, that's for sure. Redbook Magazine recently published an article that it was called Long Live the Heroic Husband, and it posed a very good question. Are even strong, independent, single-minded women still looking for a strong, protective man in their lives, a hunter-gatherer, someone who's going to take care of them? Our Manhattan therapist, Sheena Henkin, is with us today to discuss the mixed messages that women are sending men and how it's causing havoc in today's relationship.
Well, in my opinion, there are certainly a group of women who seek out these kind of, Fabio He-Man types to crush them to their breasts and dry their tears and pay their bills and stuff. But I think these people have difficulty in their own childhood. They come from the kind of families where they didn't get much of protection. They probably got scared to death by what was going on at home. And they grow up to be very kind of insecure people who want parents. I suggest they not get married, but get adopted.
Right. Well, I mean, men are naturally physically stronger. Is there anything wrong with that, a woman leaning on a man for physical comfort and strength?
No, I send Richard to the door if we have somebody comes at 4 o'clock in the morning. He's bigger than I am.
Yeah.
But that's about it when it comes to financial protection.
So what are these mixed messages that we're sending men?
Well, we're saying on the one hand, take care of me, dry my tears, be my parent. On the other hand, how dare you challenge my independence? How dare you open the door for me? Do you know what I mean? I'm a feminist. And men just really we give men a really bad rap, I think. They get very fed up with it, get angry with us, and punish us in some way or other. Probably just distance.
Phil, do you feel that there's a mixed message?
I have to agree. There have been occasions when I've actually opened a door for a woman before, and I've got a really filthy look. Just because I've opened the door, and I would open the door whether it was for a guy, for a girl, whatever. I've just opened the door. So I would agree to that with that for a certain extent. But one of the things that I think is interesting is that people actually rely. Women are starting to be stronger. They are definitely getting stronger. And I've noticed that there are a lot of women who just are stronger naturally. So that I actually like relying sometimes on a woman.
Are you talking about physical strength or emotional strength?
Emotional strength.
It's a completely different issue.
Absolutely.
It really is.
Absolutely.
Suzanne, you were saying you're usually emotionally the strong one.
Yeah, I don't see anything inconsistent with a man, if he's physically stronger, protecting me in a dangerous situation. But if I'm emotionally stronger and I'm protecting the male ego, it's kind of a trade-off.
I have a hard time with this whole protection idea at all. I mean, it's our job to protect ourselves. It's our job to calm ourselves down, take care of our own feelings. I don't really think another adult needs to do that.
Yeah, but isn't it your responsibility to help people who need help, if they're smaller than you are especially?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, we all live in groups. And I agree with you, Bob, but the thing is, it's not my responsibility to pick up this devastated mess and put it back together. That's not helping somebody. That's telling this person, you're weak, I'm strong, I'm better than you, and it's a put-down.
But does it have to get to that kind of just be a support type thing where you actually are supporting each other equally, and sometimes you need a little more support than other times? And
Phil, I've always hated the word support. It reminds me of underwear,
Oh, we all need it.
It's very difficult when we go through most of the 90s learning all these PC terms, Sheena, and you come in and don't like any of them.
I know.
That's why we love you, Sheena.
You got a rebel on your hands, Tom.
That's good. I feel that I should either protect or encourage you from the following commercial words, which you're welcome to watch or duck and cover from, after which there'll be more breakfast time, including what air pollution is really doing to us with our own science guy, Frank Cronson, and we'll go back to the Florida Keys.
Like any fine recipe, making TV Fresh Daily has its special ingredients.
Beautiful FX Studios.
First, you need fresh faces throughout your day, getting you involved.
Hey, it's live TV.
You need the right mix of new shows to popular favorites.
Yes, we're going to have to get this one two snapped up in a circle.
And always deliver it with a personal touch. Whether you want a whole show or just a bite of news, FX always has a fresh batch ready for you. FX TV, made fresh daily.
Woodstock. Was it a time, a place, a state of mind, or an item in a lumberyard inventory list? No matter what, it's a funny way to pronounce Socrates, or Bethel for that matter, or even breakfast time with Laurie Hibbard and Tom Bergeron.
The morning show where more muffins start their day. That's right. Welcome to our 8 o'clock hour. You know, Laura, I thought it'd be a good opportunity to show you folks what the Spandex Rangers and Patricia do after
hours.
The warm-up.
No, you'd think they'd work out all day, but not so. They're porking down. The cream cheese is almost gone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Welcome back to about hour 2, breakfast time. We have a lot of great stuff. Richie Havens is here.
Let's check. Is
The
Richie
gods
still
are
in the
with us.
apartment? Yes, he's still there. Yes. Richie Havens.
Reading the paper.
Getting
with
some
your
laughs
drink.
out of the New York Post like we all do every morning. Hi, Richie.
We just want to make sure he's sticking around for the entire show. That's all.
Indeed. We are taking you all around. But Frank Cronson, I think. We'll see him in just a moment.
I'm out in the park with him right after the next
Is that right?
break.
Okay. All right. First, we're going to, I believe, the Florida Key of Marathon. And Spencer Garbett is at the Hidden Harbor Marine Hospital for turtles. Spencer, good morning again.
That's right, the Turtle Hospital here in Marathon. They even have their own ambulance. And this little baby turtle here, in about 20 or 30 years, will be almost 300 pounds. So you got a lot of eating to do, kiddo. Also at the Turtle Hospital here, they not only do research and operations on tumors, but they also help turtles in their other ailments that they face in the sea. So we'll be finding out about that a little bit later.
Now, Spencer, the Spandex Rangers were complimenting you.
Huh? Tilted down too far.
You what?
He looks good.
Yeah.
She was talking about the turtle.
I'm sorry, Spencer. Now we go to Ankeny, Iowa, where Gwen McGee is about to take flight at the Ankeny Regional Airport. Gwen?
How you doing, Tom? I'm sitting here in a $10,000 plane, and it's looking good. But when we come back, we're going to find out all about a model aircraft. It's the largest model aircraft in the world, and the price of that is $100,000. But I got something to say. Mr. Ellison, who was my guest earlier here, was a little depressed, so I had to talk to him and give him a pep speech. And he wanted to know why you asked so many questions during the segment, and we couldn't show off all his beautiful plays. So, Mr. Ellison, you got something to say to Tom?
Tom, I'm going to get you when I get to New York. All right.
Yeah. Hey, you know, I'll take a fly swatter to that plane, mister.
Tom?
Yes, Bob?
Tell Gwen not to fly with him till he's out of his depression, okay?
Good idea. Thanks, Gwen. We'll get back to you. Meanwhile, Frank Cronson, our FX science guy, is in Madison Square Park, still running around with that big old glad bag since last hour, purportedly to tell us about the dangers of air pollution. But frankly, we think he's found his calling. We'll just keep him running and run. You know, folks, if you weren't with us last hour, what we did was we just kind of waited to see how long he would run. Yeah, da 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 dum, bum 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 bum.
Is this part of our Christmas special?
You know it. This is going to be on the party reel. There he goes, round and round. And before he drops from exhaustion, let's see, because he'll attack me with the guy with the little planes. Let's check on today's top stories.
Thanks, Tom. In the news today, a federal appeals court has ruled the military can bar homosexuals for sexual acts, but not for admitting they're gay. The 3-0 ruling followed President Clinton's don't ask, don't tell policy, and also reinstates a Navy officer who openly admitted that he was gay last year. In Detroit today, a suspect in yesterday's attack of 81-year-old civil rights leader Rosa Parks might be facing charges. Police say they've arrested a man at a grocery store after he was recognized from police sketches. The suspect faces charges of breaking and entering, assault and battery, and robbery. Also in the news, a new blood test may be able to tell if someone has had a heart attack or if a person is having chest pains for other reasons in just 6 hours. The New England Journal of Medicine says current tests can take up to 24 hours for detection. The journal also says it could save $4 billion a year on non-heart attack patients put in coronary care units. Tomorrow, 5,000 Corvette owners will be heading to Bowling Green, Kentucky for the opening of the National Corvette Museum. The legendary museum will sport Vettes from 1952 to the 1 millionth model last made in 1992. And those are the headlines.
Richie Havens just met Bob. That was an expression worth 1,000 words.
Yeah.
What was the weather like on your drive-in?
Just now, well, it's kind of gray out there, but I think we're going to do okay today. I think the sun's going to show up about 2:30, 3 o'clock.
You really? Yeah, okay. You've always been an optimist anyway.
I got a thing with the sun.
All right. Oh, yeah, no kidding.
I would pay just to listen to him talk.
Jim, what's the weather in the rest of the country like?
Well, just in New York, the sun's going to come out about 2:30, and it's really going to be nice. We got showers in the south, in eastern New England, and in the upper plains. Let's look at these high temperatures. What we have here, what we have here is a bunny rabbit, okay, with like something caught in its throat. All right, and he's looking eastward, and why? Because it's green, and that's the weather.
I thought he was looking at the carrot like 80.
Thanks a lot, Jim. We're going to go back to the Turtle Hospital in Key Marathon, Florida when we come back, and I will be in the park with Frank Cronson talking about air pollution, so please stay tuned.
This Labor Day, FX is fighting crime in Gotham City.
It may take hours.
15 and a half hours to be exact, Alfred. FX Batvillains A to Z, only on FX. Hey, have you heard the latest scoop?
What's that?
A serving of Kellogg's Raisin Bran cereal in milk.
That's the 2 scoops thing, right?
It's just 45 cents.
It's news to me.
Can I taste one? Please do. How about those raisins, huh?
I see more than I can count.
Raisins are looking good.
And how does this look to you?
Oh, I can't beat that.
Everybody should have such a bargain.
And now they do. Hit me with the headline.
Kellogg's Raisin Bran for 45 cents.
Just part of the value in having breakfast with Kellogg's.
Kellogg's Raisin Bran. Excellent.
For the past 50 years, Swaim has been making contemporary furniture the traditional way, handcrafted one piece at a time, like these designer pieces made for the FX apartment. It's their commitment to style and attention to detail that has made Swaim one of America's leading contemporary furniture manufacturers. For the name of the Swaim retailer near you, call 1-800-792-4677. Swaim Furniture, 50 years of traditional value and contemporary style.
Hello, Mr. Phelps. You're watching an elite team, the live hosts, live shows, and popular favorites we call FX. FX is TV made fresh daily. 7 hours of new live programming every day. Your mission? Join the FX team that makes TV fresh daily. Our hosts are standing by for the okay from your superior. Codename Mother Phelps.
Now that's a mission a mother could love.
In 3 seconds, this tape will turn into FX. TV made fresh daily. FX brings you Batman and the Green Hornet.
Let's roll, Kato.
But which one is cooler?
Holy puzzlers, Batman.
They both have cool logos. They both have cool cars. They both have cool sidekicks. So which one do you think is cooler?
Green Hornet usually comes out the winner.
Don't let it make you nervous.
That's because you have no Batman in your city.
Because they're both on FX. Weekends starting at 5. Craving a road trip? FX is on the road every day. When you're on the road with FX, you never know where we'll take you.
We're going to head to Miami coming up later in the show.
What you'll see?
We are going to be in San Francisco tomorrow, and we are going to talk to a man who has the world's largest collection of tin toys.
Or what you'll hear.
And we're telling you about music not only from around the corner, from around the world.
Buckle up. We're road tripping. FX, on the road every day.
Finally, a logical explanation for the disappearance of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Raphael, we hardly knew ye.
You know, our FX On the Road sweepstakes is going on, and we're encouraging you to keep track of where our correspondents are on the road right now. But let's find out where some of them are going to be in the future. John Davis,
yes,
enjoying
Tom.
breakfast in USA Today. Where are you going to be next time?
Providence, Rhode Island, Tom. And I say that from the heart. No, Providence, Rhode Island.
Hey, you're talking
I'm
to
joking.
a New Englander here.
Hey, it's going to be great.
Yeah,
Providence,
great.
Rhode Island.
All right, all right.
Exciting stuff.
Suzanne Huang is over here. Where are you heading to?
I'm actually not sure. Where am I headed, Paul?
You staying here? You're going to be doing
York.
some park
Yes,
stuff
I'm
over at
gonna be
Madison Square Park?
All right.
And where's Phil?
Yes.
Phil Kogan? Yeah. Phil, where are you headed?
One big happy family next week. I'll be back here in the apartment, and then I'm going to Macon, Georgia. Actually, if people are watching in Macon and they have some story ideas, we're still looking for story ideas. We have some good ones, but we like to hear from people if there's some good ideas, and there's a lot of them out there. So.
All right. And Richie Havens, where are you going next week?
Actually, Atlanta, Georgia, California, Washington, Baltimore.
All right, and Bob is getting his shots. We
I'm
know
going
that.
under the radiator.
Yeah, that's right. Spencer Garbett this week is in the Florida Keys. Right now he is in Marathon Key in Florida at the Hidden Harbor Marine Hospital for turtles. Spencer, good morning again.
Good morning from the Turtle Hospital. Now, in addition to the research and the operations they do on tumors, they also help turtles in other ways, which we'll show you. And they're also doing experiments about the tumor research. Now, what kind of experiments are you doing, and what do you learn from them with these turtles?
Well, for the past 10 years, we know this disease has had an epidemic worldwide, and it's been devastating the turtles. But no one's known what's causing the disease. What we've been able to do by doing a controlled experiment is to demonstrate that it's an infectious disease, and that's a major breakthrough.
Okay, so you've injected them with the virus, and they had tumors, Tom, and they removed the tumors, and they recovered, and they've been here a year, and there hasn't been a recurrence, which is good. So they're going to monitor them for a little while, and then they'll release them a little later on. That was Larry, our in-house veterinarian here at the Turtle Hospital. Now, we're going to show you some of the other work that they do here. They don't only do operations and work on the tumors, Tom, but they also help turtles with a lot of other problems that they have. But this little turtle right here is from the tumors from this fellow, they've made a little vaccine to help try to build their tolerance to these tumors that are being caused by what they think is perhaps pollution. Now, this is Tina, and she's another person here who works at the Turtle Hospital. And what other kind of inflictions do these turtles suffer besides the tumors when they're out in the ocean?
Well, we get them at all sizes, from the baby hatchlings that have lighting disorientation to boat injuries like this one with the weight belt, and entanglement, fishing line, and trap ropes and stuff. And this one has a weight belt on because when they're injured by boats, they get air trapped in the rear of their shells, and it makes their rear ends float up. So we try and give them neutral buoyancy. The scar tissue has air inside of it, and we can't get it out. So these guys, we make them more comfortable, and then they don't have to swim inverted.
Okay, great. Now, Tom, if you'll notice, there's other fish swimming around with these turtles. And what they do is they try to create the environment of what it'll be like when they go out to the sea, and they monitor them to make sure that they can eat and go to the bathroom properly, kind of like when you're in a hospital in a recuperating room. Mm-hmm. And with the other fish that are there, they learn how to survive and fight for they learn how to fight for food, because when they get out in the wild, they're not going to be hand-fed. They're going to have to fight with other fish, other manta rays, other creatures. Now, when they are healthy, they monitor them for about a year or two, whether it's an injury from a prop or from pollution, trash, or from the tumors, and they remove the tumors. Now, this one had a tumor, didn't it, Larry?
Yeah, this turtle had a big tumor on its right rear leg here, which we removed. And she's now been free of tumors for over a year, so she's ready to go.
Okay, so what do you do before you release them?
We tag her in both flippers with a numbered tag. In case she's recaptured or strands, we'll be able to have an identification on her and know what happened. And
all set to go and file them away. So you can see they do a lot of excellent work here, and as far as the tumors are concerned, and just general overall care of the sea turtles that run into problems from people being careless with props, with trash. They keep an eye on them, and they rehabilitate them to make sure that they're able to survive when they actually release them back out into the ocean.
Great stuff, Spencer. I understand there's a rumor about that you and your producer Andrea and Beth out there are lobbying for a month-long series of stories from the Florida Keys.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, no kidding.
Our headquarters, we're relocating.
Yeah.
They've only scratched the surface.
The new FX Margaritaville apartment in the Florida Keys. Let's go over to the Madison Square Park, where we have been watching, and so have some authorities been watching for the past hour, Frank Cronson running around with a big old glad bag before they can cart him away. Lori, what's he been doing out there and why?
Well, he's contained, Frank. We've got him contained for now, but what we're actually talking about is air pollution, and that's why Frank is here today, because we all know that there are a lot of contributing factors to air pollution. I mean, all you have to do is ride your bicycle behind a bus, and you really wonder whether it was all worth the effort, all that exercise. Frank Cross is going to show us the elements that make up pollution and what we can do about them. Hello, Frank. How are you?
Hi. Nice to see you again, Lori.
Nice to see you. First question, Frank. What's with the jelly beans? You got me.
Okay.
What's
well,
going on?
Let's say this jelly bean represents a ton of air pollution. Well, every day over some of our major cities, 1,000 tons or more of pollutants are released, and they rise into the air.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm demonstrating with this hot air balloon. we may think, since most of these things are fine particles or vapors, that once they're in the air, the sun shines down on them, they heat up and they blow away, and they're not our problem anymore.
Right.
But actually, just as this hot air balloon drifts up when it gets hot, there it goes. Sooner or later,
it all comes down.
It comes down again to haunt us. And it comes down sometimes in the rain, and that leads me to my next demonstration.
Right. Talk about acid rain.
One of the problems that's very famous about air pollution is its formation of acid rain. Acid rain forms when nitrogen and sulfur is released in the burning of fuels, and it rises up into the air, it sticks to water and forms sulfuric acid and nitric acid. And one of the first places they noticed this problem was on building materials and fine statues.
So you see this sort of...
So these represent the building materials.
Right.
This could represent a Greek column or something.
Right.
You see the acid rain comes down, it starts washing the features off the statues and destroying the buildings.
And buildings and things
destruction
like
of buildings.
Right.
And they realize if it's doing this to our building materials, what is it doing to the more delicate forms of life in our watersheds?
Well, how do you combat acid rain? Is there any way to
well, one of the things that we're doing is trying to produce engines that burn more efficiently, and there are Clean Air Acts in our country which have been very effective in reducing the amount of these pollutants.
Right.
But you see, it's very dangerous because just because we can't see something, we may think it's not there. The point is that these pollutants form and they don't go away.
So that's just a bunch of pollution that you have in there. Remember
that
Frank was running around earlier. Okay. Now what about, I hear planting a tree because of the oxygen, planting trees, getting more fresh air into the environment. Is that helping?
Yes. The more green plants we have, naturally they absorb some of the pollutants and convert them into oxygen and other things that we can live with.
Right, and naturally carpooling and riding your bike to work or walking always
they help restore the balance to nature.
Sure. Are we in big trouble, Frank?
I think we're at least behaving more responsibly these days, and that's I like to see that.
Yeah, good stuff. Thanks a lot, Frank. Always a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Okay, you know, a lot of this stuff goes like that. I don't know why, but it does. Tom?
That's all right. That's all right, Lori. I'm just glad to know that acid rain is now available in the handy spray bottle. Richie Havens here with us in the apartment. Yay. We're going to chat, and you're going to sing for us, are you?
Sure.
Oh, please. When we come back on Breakfast Time. What else, Jim?
Shake off the surly bonds of earth in Iowa. Here comes the sun to our apartment.
FX has asked these people to speak out for everyone, to take a stand against anger and destruction in our neighborhoods. FX believes that we can stop violence in our communities if we just take a stand. One person's action can start a chain reaction to stop the anger and destruction. From domestic violence to the anger and intolerance of racism, the message of STAND is one of hope. Don't wait to take action. Be part of the solution. Take a stand.
White land is the only thing in the world worth working for, worth fighting for, worth dying for.
Gone with the Wind. Scarlet, Terra. The images come rushing back to the moving refrain of Terra's theme, a melody that captured the bittersweet story of an era gone by.
You get your strength in this red-earthed Terra, Scarlet. You're part of it, and it's part of you.
Now, for the first time ever, you can remember Scarlet, Terra, and the beautiful Terra's theme with a new one-of-a-kind musical collector's plate. Terra, Scarlet's true love. This unique musical plate is as captivating to listen to as it is to look at. It's an exclusive Bradford Exchange recommendation, and right now it can be yours at the issue price of $29.90. All the grandeur and elegance of Terra are captured here in full color on fine porcelain. Scarlet in her finest dress, her mother and sisters, her fiery Irish father, and Terra itself in all its stately beauty, all encircled with a band of 22-karat gold. If you've considered plate collecting, you may never have a better opportunity than the only plate that actually plays Terra's theme. As the leading expert in the collector's plate market, the Bradford Exchange has recommended other Gone with the Wind plates that have shown remarkable profit potential, like the exceptional plate Scarlet. This first-of-its-kind musical plate could hold similar potential, so call now to order at the issue price. Each plate comes hand-numbered and accompanied with a certificate of authenticity. You risk nothing by acting now because the Bradford Exchange will refund your money, including postage, anytime within 1 full year if you're not completely satisfied. But hurry, this edition is strictly limited to 95 firing days. So don't miss out. Call now to order Terra, Scarlett's True Love, before time runs out.
To order Terra, Scarlett's True Love at the issue price of $29.90, call 1-800-209-5588 now. With the Bradford Exchange unconditional 365-day guarantee, you risk nothing. Have your credit card ready to save COD charges.
On the new FX network, broadcast will be coming to you live from just about anywhere. Whoa, a street corner in New York? Or a pig farm in Ohio? A fancy restaurant in L.A., party of 3. Want a booth? We could even be at the ballet in Seattle. Who knows where we'll be next? Evidently right here in Ralph's kitchen. You're gonna finish that? She hasn't eaten all day. It's not a BLT, is it?
Spencer's in the Keys and he's looking for some tumors. Lori's trying to breathe and keep her sense of humor. Look out, kid. It's something you did. God knows when, but you're doing it again.
Thanks, Jim.
Oh, okay.
Well, you know, when you think of those radio-controlled planes, the remote-controlled planes, you probably think those little ones you see in the parks people fly on the weekends. Well, you are in for a big surprise if that's what you're thinking about, because Gwen McGee is at the Ankeny Regional Airport in Ankeny, Iowa, where they are proud to fly the world's largest remote-controlled planes. Gwen. Gwen.
Thank you. Hey, listen, Laurie, I'm out here with Joe Schumacher, and we've got the largest model airplane ever. Now, the motor is very loud, so if I seem like I'm shouting, please forgive me. Joe is going to tell me now why he started to build this model aircraft, Joe.
Well, good morning, Gwen. This airplane was built after the real B-29 bomber, and it was built for an annual air show production we do called Striking Back. It's a World War II battle reenactment that uses 1/5 scale models as part of its whole production. And this just happens to be the biggest one we have.
Okay, show me some of the parts and how this operates. I mean, it's just like a real plane. What are these things here?
Well, it is like a real airplane. All the flight functions are much the same. This is the aileron on the airplane, which controls the roll of the airplane, which makes it turn left and right once it's in the air. We also have, the airplane is now ready for flight. We have the flap partially down, which will give it increased lift for the takeoff, roll, and to start down the runway. All of the 4 motors are running now. These are 10 horsepower chainsaw type motors, and they're all running and ready to go and warmed up now.
Okay, now how does it fly? This thing here is the elevator, and it works just like a real plane and everything.
That is correct. Well, and what it does is when he starts down the runway here in a little bit, he will raise this elevator a little bit, which will force the tail down. It'll initiate a climb in the airplane. It will climb out just like a real airplane.
Wow. Is there any chance that, like, maybe I could fly it? I know you have the controls of it. Maybe I can get a turn. Could you let me do it? Or?
Well, I tell you, no, we can't do that. I don't even fly the airplane. I've only had 2 people in the history of the airplane that have ever flown this airplane. It has to be a very, very good pilot. And
okay.
We'll signal Carl now, and we'll send him down the runway with the airplane.
Okay, Carl's gonna, we'll give you the signal. Let this baby rip, Carl, and we're going off. Now ooh, look at it.
Yeah, now watch him. He's guiding the airplane down the runway with the rudder to keep it straight as he can down the runway. He's going to give it elevator now. There she goes. It's lifting off.
Whoa.
It's hitting a speed now of about 50, 60 miles an hour. And you can see it's a huge airplane. It has 30 foot of wingspan and weighs about 375 pounds. He has just activated the landing gear now, so the landing gear has retracted and has been stowed away just like in a real airplane.
This is great. How long can it stay up there?
Well, it can fly for about 20 minutes. It has a quart of fuel for each of the engine. It's like I mentioned earlier, it's a chainsaw type motor, and they burn quite a lot of fuel actually. But he can stay up for 20 minutes. But we don't let it up that long. The batteries in the airplane, which control the radio systems and all of the functions of the airplane, we don't want to put a lot of strain on them.
Okay, this is quite amazing. I mean, it's a $100,000. Basically, model aircraft. It's absolutely amazing. You got all the scenery back here to set up the segment. This is beautiful. Thanks for doing all that work for Lovable FX. I'm going to tell me a little bit about this transmitter. That's what he's actually working down there, right?
That is correct, Gwen. He has a transmitter much like this, which is the same thing all modelers use around the country. There are different brands of things. This happens to be an Aerotronics Vanguard. But this controls the functions of the aircraft. When he pulls back on this stick over here, it goes up and down. When he goes this way, it goes right and left. This controls the throttles on all 4 engines.
All right.
And then steering it down the runway.
Well, look at that. It's still up there going. I mean, it looks just like a American Airlines plane or whatever. This is great. This is great.
Right. We think, as far as we know, this is the largest radio-controlled airplane in the world. And it's coming overhead now. We fly this airplane each year for an annual air show production we do here. And it drops 1 bomb to simulate the A-bomb dropped on Hiroshima.
Well, you know, I tell you, I want to play with the plane. Can I do it? I mean, this ain't the
This
one that
really
works.
look at the airplane. You can play with this one, but it won't really do anything. At least you can see what makes it work.
All right, Mr. Joe Schumacher.
Everybody under the couch.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Joe Schumacher? I didn't know you were into planes, man.
No.
Anthony, you set me up. You got Joe Schumacher here.
Well, I'll tell you what,
this is great. I didn't know you were into planes. I thought you lived in Los Angeles.
No, that's right. I'm right here. So
Oh, God.
he wants to land the airplane, so we'll just go ahead and move off the side of the runway here and give him a minute.
Okay, we're going to move off and we're going to land the airplane.
If he drops something, Gwen, run.
Amazing. No, I won't run. But this is Joe Schumacher. Anthony, you didn't tell me. This is great. You directed the client, man. What are you doing tonight? Okay, it's coming down. It's coming down.
Stand a little further away from the runway. It'll come right in front of us here in just a moment.
Okay, we're moving back because we don't want to start no trouble here. Okay, you sure I can't fly it?
Well, you can try. You can sure fly it a little bit if you like. And,
all right. Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Tom and Lori, $100,000 model aircraft taking all the way off, and Joe Schumacher here, the filmmaker, is into aircraft.
Well, I tell you,
great.
If people want to see this thing in action and see it drop its bomb, they can contact us at Aviation Expo, P.O. Box 498, Ankeny, Iowa, 50021.
You just did a shameless plug. Okay, no problem. We're landing now.
She's on final approach.
Yeah, all right, final approach. Here she goes.
Looks beautiful, Gwen.
All right, Lori.
All right, great way to end it.
Yeah.
Beautiful landing.
Okay,
all right.
Somebody clear this up. Is that the Joel Schumacher?
Yeah.
Are we sure?
No.
Okay, well, I'm going to get to the bottom of it, and while
Who's
I am...
Joe Schumacher?
Joel Schumacher's a very famous director, if it's really him.
I went to high
But
school with
I
him.
don't think that's him, because I interviewed him once. Anyway, I'll get to the bottom of it. In the meantime, here's a look at today's top stories.
Guess this ruins the plans to have Spielberg at her next Iowa remote. Here are some of the top stories we're following for you today. Federal judge in New York has set a new trial date for 13 men accused of plotting to bomb the United Nations and other New York landmarks last year. The new date is set for December 5th. 2 of the defendants need new lawyers. John Bobbitt is serving 15 days in jail for assaulting his ex-fiancée in July. A Las Vegas judge says Bobbitt has an attitude problem that stems from a more serious drinking problem. The judge also ordered Bobbitt to attend impulse control and Alcoholics Anonymous meetings. In New York, Lori mentioned this earlier, women who ride topless on the subway will not be ticketed. The Transit Authority says the decision came shortly after Woodstock. No, actually after a group of women began testing a state law that says it's discriminatory to arrest women without shirts. And Burt Reynolds back in a Florida hospital today after suffering complications from recent hernia surgery. No word yet on his condition, but Reynolds is forced to cancel his role as co-host this weekend on the Jerry Lewis Labor Day Telethon. That's a look at today's top stories.
Thank you, and this just in, that is not the Joel Schumacher. I didn't think so. Jim, what's the weather like today?
I'm going to get through this fast. We got showers in the south, in New England and in the Central Plains. Let's look at the high temperatures. As you can see, we have a nice bunch of blend of high temperatures. That's the weather. We got Richie Havens in the apartment. Let's get to it.
Richie Havens is here. This is such a treat.
Thank you.
Richie's latest CD is Cuts to the Chase. Richie Havens and Waylon Jennings was here a couple days ago, and we asked him when he goes out on the road next, and he says, I am always on the road. That's the same for
Me
you.
too. Yeah. Every weekend, pretty much all year round. Europe every year since, I jokingly say, I've been on tour since December '67. It's really true, though.
You've had like 3 vacations since then? That's it?
2.5.
2.5, yeah. Woodstock '94 was more successful in a lot of ways than many people thought. How would you assess it, having been at the first one?
Not really. It was not successful at all as far as I'm concerned. The reason being, let's say the promoters were successful.
Well, there you go. I mean, there were more people that showed up, and it was...
Actually, in Bethel, where I was, where nothing was supposed to happen, 110,000 people showed up, and about 140 groups showed up to play. So, and it was free for 110,000 people. So I think that the spirit that the original one really had, because it was more than just a concert. And this last one, 94, was just a concert, really.
I'd said on the air that it was like QVC does the 60s, because it was such a marketing thing. And Bethel, you were there, and that had more of the spirit.
Well, it had the spirit because it was in the original place, and I think everybody who came there to knowing that that spirit was there. Actually, for 23 years, they've been holding a concert there free, the kids from around that area.
What keeps you going? I know you just worked on a song for Rwandan relief efforts, and...
Yes, I think the necessity of having to do for ourselves keeps me going. You know, we have to do because, in fact, I'm one of those people who realizes the world is just beginning, and America too. And so within that context, we need a great deal to happen for us. And if I can do something, and most of the people I know from that time, if we can do something, and we are trying to bring about some kind of sense of self as an entire American group of people, you know, multicultural, national.
You have consented to sing for us, which we're very grateful for. Do you mind? What are you going to do for us?
I have no idea.
You know what, Richie? That perfectly summarizes the whole show. We have no idea, but we get in here by 6:30. We're off by 9. Everybody seems to be happier for it. Ladies and gentlemen, Richie Havens.
Oh boy! Now I'm on the spot. I think I'm going to take the easy way out here. Little darling, seems right a long, long, long way. Little darling, seems like so many years since it's been there. Here comes the sun, 2:30. Here comes the sun, and I say, it's all right, it's all right, it's all right, it's all right, it's all right. Little darling, seems like the ice is slowly melting. Little darling, seems like so many years since it's been clear. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. And I say, it's all right, it's all right, it's all right, it's all right, it's all right. Darling, seems like the smiles are returning to the faces. Little darling, seems like so many years since they've been there. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun, and I say, it's all right, it's all right, it's all right, it's all right, it's all right. In the end, the love you save will be equal to the love you gave.
And now a message from Dynasty's bad girl.
Hi, I'm Joan Collins. Watch Dynasty on FX every weekday night at 9 o'clock. Don't miss it.
Gee, she doesn't sound so bad to me.
Sometimes in very...
Daily. FX has fresh shows.
We're going to try and give you a little bit of insight into what's great out there, what you should have, what you should buy, what you shouldn't buy.
Fresh faces.
Good morning again.
A fresh attitude.
Coming up Monday on the Pet Department, we're going to road test pot-bellied pigs.
FX knows you deserve a little freshness. That's why FX is TV made fresh daily. It's the gang from FX with the answer to the call of the road.
We're going to go and talk to the people in this country who matter.
Let's roll, Cato.
Everybody.
No matter how you're getting there or where your fantasies take you, FX will be on the road for you. We'll be exploring what's in your neighborhood and everybody else's with the rest of the country. Whether you're in search of live shows or popular favorites, FX has got the answer to the call of the road.
Come out on the road with me. We're going to have some fun.
Around the world and back snap.
FX, on the road every day.
Welcome back to Breakfast Time, the morning show with all the information there.
Need a little life in your morning?
Welcome back to Sound Effects, the show all about the best.
Looking for something live to keep you awake at night? Well, search no more, because FX is on when you are. We've got what you need day, night, and in between, with our live hosts, new shows, and popular favorites. And we'll always be there, whenever you need us most. FX, day and night.
To all the temples built by man of stone and other transient materials, I wish to live to see them crumble into truth and pieces of light. Richie Havens.
I was saying to Richie Havens after the song when we went to break.
Name dropper.
It was, yeah. Well, that's after I got off the phone with Nicholson and Brando. But goosebumps. I mean, it was just so
I know,
great.
it was incredible.
Richie, thank you so much. That was just wonderful. Really is. Careful, Richie. Frank will have you running around in Madison Square Park. Yeah. How about a little mailbag music, Maestro?
Yeah.
Hey. Mr. Postman. Mr. Postman. Hell with it. We're fine up here on our own.
They ain't playing after Richie Havens.
Yeah, that's right. We got a letter from Kay Santos, and Kay, you didn't put your return address on the letter, but we know you're out there. She said, one question, are you in a studio or an actual house? The rooms are great and so spacious, it looks like a regular house. Great decorating.
Well, Kay, in the August edition of Interior Design, the FX apartment, not studio, you could find $1 if you say it, is beautifully featured. I mean, there's some terrific pictures. JB on camera, he's our executive producer. He wears a lot of hats. We have the ballroom, the living room, dining room area, the bathroom. I mean, these are gorgeous shots. I can't get over it.
They really are.
Makes the apartment look spectacular. But, you know, it loses something on the page, doesn't it?
That's true. And so what I thought, Rob, if we could have a little zip around the apartment music. Let's take you on.
1 minute,
I have 1 minute.
Come back
Clock
here.
me now. Here we have our lovely and functional dining room area where people are actually not eating at all. Joining us over here, some of our field correspondents, John and Phil, Richie Havens, and Frank with his big old glad bag, and of course, Bob. Now, this is our Yamaha Discalier, whatever they call it. It's a great thing. And that's our kitchen. How much time? How much time?
35 seconds.
35 seconds. This is the study. This is the bedroom over here. This is the bathroom where, of course, washer dryers are an important part. The game room is right in here, and this is where we hang out and do some interviews and close the show. But the ballroom, look at this.
Tom.
How much time?
20 seconds.
20 seconds. How many New York apartments would be complete without a ballroom? Clear the way. I've only got a few seconds. Now, let's all go back here. I love it when they swear when I do this.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
Yes.
1. You are the best. You're the best.
You know what? Normally, I'd agree with that assessment.
Yes.
The best really are the camera people
Oh, no kidding.
who follow us at
Not
great
just today
peril.
at that
really.
moment, but any time, and literally 10 seconds before we're going
Right.
to do anything, it's like, follow me, and they
Right.
and we jump up, and they're like scrambling over
It's a
tables.
good thing they
and
weren't
always
mic'd,
get the
because
shot.
when I was zipping through rooms, I heard a few choice sounds. But
Slappe borst van jou. Oh ja? Nou, laat maar zien dan. Laat jij maar zien.
Ik weet het goed gemaakt. Wie de grootste heeft, mag met die mee.
Hij wel. Serieus?
Ja, natuurlijk. Lijkt me een eerlijke zaak. Ook voor die meid.
Rijdt ze meteen topklas? Deuren dicht. Doe je het echt?
Ja, natuurlijk.